Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So today's video is going to be probably something that a lot of you are going to face on your BMW E60, E90, E63, E65. This is a very, very common problem, and it's even happened to me many times on 3 of my E60s. Now, I've never actually done a video on this, but I thought I would do one because this actually happened to me the other day on my E60 M5, and I had to renew it purely because it ended up breaking. And then when this happens, you're sitting there thinking, crap, how do you get access to this part because you can't get back in there? Now, nobody wants that fear on their head. So the piece I'm speaking about is this part right here. Many of you probably won't know what that is, but I am going to show you what this is, and I'm going to show you how you can rectify the issue if this happens to you. Now, this part does break. It is only plastic, so you're going to expect that. And especially if you take your engine apart like I did and you take the slam panel out of the way, you can actually cause damage to this certain part, which will end up making this actually break. So I'm going to go over and I'm going to show you what you need to do if this happens to you.
What? Goddamn, get it done, will ya? Woo. When the blow up now, everybody's so unusual with it. Shit. But said times in his rhymes, cause his memories. We running through New York, so you know.
So if you'll see, this is the slam panel on the E60, and they are no different. Regardless what E60 you have, regardless what E63 you have, E90, they are all the same. The bonnet cables are exactly the same. Now these cables right here, a lot of people don't understand there is clips sitting behind here, which they go back into. Now what ends up happening is when you lift the slam panel up and pull it out the way, you end up, because the cables are attached, pulling it out of the socket which sits above here, which is obviously for the stretch mechanism and obviously to connect all the cables, which are meant to be very tight to actually pull the latches itself. What a lot of people do is they just take it up, pull it this way, pull it that way, any way they want to try and get it out the way. But what you're actually doing is stretching the cables this side to the point where your bonnet lever isn't in sync with the cables going to the latches, which then ends up breaking your bonnet latch or hood lever. Now this has happened to me many times, and I'm going to show you what I did to actually gain access to pull my bonnet up. Very, very easy on the E60s. It's not hard at all. So if that happens to you and you can't get access to your bonnet, here is what you would do. So as you can see here, this is the bonnet cables which are on my driver's side. In the US, if you do drive a left-hand drive car, they will be on your other side, but it'll be no different to how you access the bonnet. What you're going to want to do is, if you can see here, down here, this is the wheel arch liner. Now, there's only 3 8mm bolts needed to actually drop the wheel arch liner. What you would do is jack your car up from whichever side your bonnet cables are, or hood cables. You would then lift the car up, undo the bolts for the wheel arch liner, get your hand up here through the liner itself, so you'll pull this part down. You can see it flexes. So all you have to do is just actually drop that down. Your hand will come up here and you'll get access to the cables. Now, the main cable that will be stretched that ain't functioning is this one right here, which goes to the bonnet lever inside the car. But if you put your hand up, you'll be able to reach these two right here, and you'll be able to just tug on them and pull them to release the latches. It is very, very simple, not a hard job to do. And if you do find yourself with your bonnet lever broken, which is a common issue, you can literally just come up here and get to them. They are not hard to remove. 3 8mm bolts on the wheel arch liner itself that sits around the wheel. You don't have to remove the wheel. You'll be able to get to them. Get your hand up here. Just be careful of obviously the sharp metal piece, and you'll feel the bonnet cables and just tug on them and it will release both levers. Another thing you can do if you do want to be picky is you can take out your grills right here. Many people actually do this, but you do run the risk of actually breaking them because of the clips. You can actually take them out with the bonnet actually closed and not accessible, and you'll be able to get a screwdriver, go up through here because there's enough space to move your hands around inside there, and unlock the latches manually with a screwdriver. It is possible to be able to do that just with a long enough screwdriver. You can see here, you'll be able to get in there with your hand, move it to here and unlock the latches. Or you've got the other simple way of getting underneath the car, taking off the under tray, which is much harder, especially on the M5, and reaching up with a long enough screwdriver to hit the catches. But these are the other ways you can do it if your cables are not fully functioning properly. But if they are fully functioning and it is just this one over here, which runs into the interior, which is causing an issue, you'll be able to get in through the wheel arch liner down here and just pull the cables and release your bonnet. Very, very easy to actually do. Now you'll see here, this one has been replaced and this one was very flimsy. You can always tell if they're going to break, because when you first pull on them, you'll feel that they're either too tight or there is just too much play in it to the point it will just go all the way up, which then means your bonnet cable is either stretched or not sitting properly, which then means realign it, because if you keep pulling it, it will snap, because the cable itself goes through a long plastic piece and into that actual turning wheel, which actually pulls the cable to release the bonnet itself. Just be careful of that. A lot of people do make that mistake, think their bonnet ain't opening, and it's actually the main cause is the cable is actually stretched and it's not actually sitting properly, which can be rectified before buying a new part. Okay guys, so as you've seen there, I've now shown you how to open your bonnet on your BMW E60, E61, E63, E65, regardless, even if it's an E90, this will be the same. If your bonnet cables are stretched or they're too tight and you can feel the bonnet lever going to snap, do not open it. Go underneath the way I said and go and pull them cables, or you can go through your grills, depending on how you choose to access your bonnet itself. There's many different ways of accessing it. I have had to do it many times like that, even on the E60 M5 before that piece actually snapped. Just be careful when actually doing it, because you could actually end up really stretching the cable that goes to the interior and you might have to renew that. It's not hard at all to get access to it. It goes through the firewall and straight out to where it's meant to the bonnet lever. Very easy to do on the E60, but I'm just giving you the heads up that if your bonnet is like this, go in through the wheel arch and just pull the lever so you can then work around repairing it to get it to function properly again, especially if you've removed that slam panel, because that's when a lot of these issues occur, especially when the slam panel has been removed, because people overstretch them and pull that slam panel too much, where it actually pulls the cables that actually go to the levers. So I hope this video actually helps you get access to your engine again after you've been stuck with your bonnet lever or latch not being able to open. Thank you very much for watching guys, and goodbye.